Malaysia assured the US that it is not, in fact, a trade cheat no matter what POTUS Trump says. International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Mustapa Mohamed pointed out that the country's trade surplus with the US is only $6 billion, much lower than the purported $25 billion quoted by the Americans. He was speaking in response to Trump's potential executive order to investigate countries which he described as trade cheaters for their trade surplus with the US. Tok Pa said that Malaysia strongly denies the allegation and is confident that the country's trade policies are fair. However, he tempered his statement by reiterating that the US is an important trading partner and that the relationship between the two countries will continue to prosper. Allegedly contained in the executive order signed by Trump last Friday was the instruction to launch a 90-day investigation into countries for possible trade abuse. Malaysia was 9th out of the 16 countries, keeping company with the likes of China, Germany and Mexico. Pos Malaysia Berhad is banking on e-commerce and its logistics business to push its FY18 into positive growth territory. According to its CEO, Datuk Muhammad Shukri Muhammad Saleh, revenue from Pos Laju is expected to grow about 20%, which will be driven by e-commerce. The company today signed an MOU with Tiger Global Logistics M. Sundar Berhad, which would enable Pos Malaysia to offer cross-border e-fulfillment solutions in the Asia-Pacific region. Shukri explains that under the collaboration, Pos Malaysia is targeting about 30 million in revenue contribution this year and 100 million next year. He adds that it is a new business to Pos Malaysia, and over the next couple of years, it is looking at a more aggressive growth at 30% annually. In addition, Pos Malaysia is planning to invest 150 million ringgit on enhancing its integrated parcel centre in Shah Alam and a new one in KLIA. Chinese developer Country Garden Holdings has announced that it will refund money to mainland Chinese buyers of its mega Forest City development in Johor. This move came following reports that the purchasers would be facing a stiff forfeit fee of 30% of the purchase price if they pulled out. The South China Morning Post had quoted Country Gardens VP Zhu Jiamin as saying that the buyers could cancel the transaction and would not have to pay the forfeit fee. A lot of Chinese buyers of Forest City had found themselves up the creek, unable to finance their purchases due to a crackdown by the Chinese government on capital outflows. However, Zhu had also told the SCMP that only about 5% of the buyers were considering withdrawing their purchase. Forest City, a 14 square kilometre development covering 4 artificial islands in Johor with a GDV of 444 billion ringgit, had been successful in its efforts in pulling in Chinese buyers. However, with the crackdown, that means any Chinese developments on foreign shores would no longer be able to tap into China's 1.36 billion population. As for Country Garden, this means pivoting towards home buyers in Southeast Asia, South Asia and the Middle East. Switzerland's financial regulator says that it's still investigating 3 banks in relation to alleged money laundering activities at Sovereign Fund 1 MDB. This after FINMA recently closed the case against UBS Group AG, which it reprimanded with no further action to be taken. A report from Bloomberg quoted FINMA CEO Mark Branson as saying that there were still a handful of cases related to 1MDB that have not been concluded. FINMA had confiscated profits from Coutts & Co in Zurich, an international private banking unit formerly owned by Royal Bank of Scotland Group plc, after it allowed $2.4 billion worth of assets related to 1MDB to pass through its Swiss accounts. The regulator had also punished Lugano's Swiss-based BSI SA and Falcon Private Bank of Zurich last year. South Korea's Lotte Group is planning to list its Malaysian petrochemical unit on Bursa Malaysia in an IPO that could raise some $1.5 billion. According to Reuters, this could make it one of Malaysia's biggest IPOs in years. According to filings from the Korea Exchange, Lotte Group's unit, Lotte Chemical Corp, will be listing its subsidiary, Lotte Chemical Titan Holding, sometime during the 3rd quarter of this year. The proceeds from the listing will be used to build a naphtha cracker in Indonesia and a polypropylene plant in Malaysia, as well as to expand its cracker facility here. Lotte Chemical is planning to offer 740.48 million shares in its Malaysian unit, with an over-allotment option of up to 55.54 million shares. Quoting sources, Reuters said that the prospectus could likely pop up on the Securities Commission website within days.